Fill me out with your smile. Now the sunshine brings the light. Fill me out with a flame. I will let you in this game. Take me out when I'm down. 'Cause with you I'm safe and sound. 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 Take me out when I'm down. 'Cause with you I'm safe and sound. 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 Safe and
over the edge, feel like I'm floating through the air. The pain I felt is paid for, all is said and done. Oh, I am restricted, fixed upon the web. I need to kick the habit that my mind is breathing in. Break out, I've got to see. Spent all my life holding all of it closely. I played it innocent, a feel of discontent. I'm finally facing it all, fearless. Burning the bridge that keeps us. I'm here and I'm feeling fearless. Exaggerated, that's what you assume. the story's over now, I must conclude. I am conflicted, watching where I step still, hanging in the balance, not the life I want to live. I want to take it all, standing tall, fear outweighed the person you are. Oh, break out, I've got to see. Spent all my life holding all of it closely. I played it innocent, a feel of discontent. I'm finally facing it all, fearless.
Walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Feel like a dynamite, ready to explode right up in the sky. I need you to listen, I need you to hear, and don't show any fear. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul.
Don't look back, we're here to stay. A life we knew would come one day. And this is it, the borderline to where the future leaves us behind. The fire will burn and never die. Looking through the eyes of a brand new life. And so just find me, just find me. Sparks will fly if we scream no. This is not how we're gonna go. We are the ones who will never let go. Watch us roll till no one knows. We'll never grow.
That was disgusting. Oh my God, June. Oh.
Absolutely devastating.
He's actually in a really good spot for his teammate to watch over him and give him assistance, but no one really watching the main run up. And oh, what a trophy system collateral kill!
Oh, they gotta get on the point. They gotta get on the point. They're gonna run out of time. Can they contest? They are with 1.4 seconds. And Phil is gonna go down. We are gonna be seeing them now. No, out of the point, and Wave Runners by the skin of their teeth. They're gonna be able to hold on.
Can he play from horse?
Oh!
Holy! He's gonna get another one!
As Hoy will quick scope heavy.
But it's gonna not necessarily translate to control of the bottom plane, as Legacy just being an absolute nuisance here with his team just getting such a map control here.
Team kill is gonna get hustled down to 2v2. They should have had the man up, and now Austin's gonna play the game to get one. He's gonna look for the double, can't quite get it. Zuxium, the last man alive, and now it's Zuxium trying to finish off the team. He's gonna stun in there, see one. One's gonna push out, it's gonna get taken out. Zuxium can finish it right here. 7 points left. Taking out another one. One more pushes out. He's gonna get taken out by a teammate, and that's gonna be Hype Esport taking map number 1.
I see it now, I see it now.
Wednesday night and some Call of Duty here for Season 3 of the K7 League. Folks, how you guys doing? My name is McCormick. Alongside myself is Seymour, and we have a great match on hand tonight. It's Week 3, game number 21 of K7 Season 3. Living Nightmare, who are 2-0, going up against the Indiana Syndicate, who are 1-1.
And it's going to be a fantastic one. I mean, I can't wait to see what these teams have to. And if Indiana Syndicate can kind of pull this off and give that first loss to the Living Nightmares. And I hope you guys like planes, because we got a whole lot of planes ahead of us and a whole lot of Checkmate to see. So let's check out these maps that we are going to be playing tonight, provided by our nice, good sponsors, GitGudHosts. You see these maps, and Mo's Hardpoint is going to lead us off with Garrison. Then we're going to go to a 3-map-in-a-row Checkmate Series S&D Control. And if it goes the distance, Hardpoint. And then if it goes all the way to map 5, Corn, we're going to be seeing the suburbs of Raid for that S&D to battle it out. And I cannot be more excited to see if it does go to that game 5.
Well, in order to get to that game number 5 on towards that beautiful Raid mansion, we've got to get to take off first on Checkmate. So 3 maps in a row of Checkmate, potentially if we do get past that illustrious game number 3. Personally, not a favorite map of mine, especially 3 times in a row. It gives not a lot of, I guess, luster to be had for either of these two teams. But, you know, it is a map in Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, so I guess we can kind of lead off by talking about our Garrison first, though, before we go into anything Checkmate and everything Checkmate. Starting out with the Hardpoint, though, a lot of lines of sight, a lot of rotations to be had, mainly over towards 2 and 3. Getting spawns very important on Garrison Hardpoint. But really, what's the most important spawn and the most important hill to get control of to take over this map?
I would say points 2 and 3. That's where you're going to be seeing the most money be gained between the two of them. That outside radar and the back spawns. I guess the less favored spawns, but if you do get that side, if you're able to hold down those point 3 spawns, you can definitely answer back from a heavily gained time that is going to be had on that point 2. So from 2 to 3, I'm going to be seeing the most amount of time on Garrison Hardpoint. And honestly, when it comes down to it, it's going to be heavily favored by those SMG players. So that's what I'm looking for between Indiana and Living Nightmares to see how those SMG players handle it. But we're talking about the players and the SMGs. Why don't we introduce them here, Corin, before we dive deeper into this Hardpoint map? So we're going to be looking at Indiana Syndicate here as our first one. We got Trulocity, Steady Velocity, and Gother. So don't you get mixed up with Trulocity and Velocity. Two different players. Definitely close in that one. Why don't you introduce our Living Nightmare squad?
Well, for the side of Living Nightmare, we've got 4 beautiful players on this roster again. 2-0, a 6-2 map count for this illustrious roster. It's going to be Nefarious, Exert, Cynical, and Turbo to round out those 4 players. That's going to lead us right into this match here on Garrison Hardpoint. Most importantly, talking about these two teams, a chance to stay undefeated for Living Nightmare. For the side of Indiana Syndicate, they want to get an upper hand advantage on their opponent, making sure that they can potentially get not only better their record inside of the K7 League, but also maybe demoralize the opponent that might feel they have the upper hand advantage with the record in terms of both of these two teams. So Indiana Syndicate, as I said beforehand, 1-1 with a 3-3 map count. Living Nightmare 2-0 with that 6-2 map count. And as we can see on the screen here, it is inside of Division B. We'll take you through the rest of that division as well, with Valiant Gaming, Natural Talent, Hyped Esports, Valkyrie, Swear Society, and God Gaming, all looking for the rights to get into playoffs of the K7 League. It's only week 3. However, that doesn't mean that these matches aren't big for any of these teams, and especially for an Indiana Syndicate team looking to go ahead and put the record above 500. This is going to be a big one to watch for this team specifically.
And if you look at Indiana, this is a very big opportunity for them to tie themselves with Living Nightmares. If they win this map in 4, they are going to be head-to-head tied at the seam with Living Nightmares, as they would be 2-1 with a 6-3 map count, or 6-4 map count. So just kind of keeping it as close as they can with Living Nightmares is really the name of this week 3 matchup between the two. And I need to see Indiana Syndicate take this hardpoint early, show us that they have the means to kind of battle against one of these big teams. Corn, I know it's just week 3, but Garrison Hardpoint, let me know, how do you feel about this one?
Garrison Hardpoint specifically, it's better than Garrison Control or Garrison Search and Destroy. It plays a lot differently than those two modes specifically. However, it's still one of those maps that can be very, very one-sided if you're able to control the map with those fast, aggressive SMGs and those long-range dominant ARs holding down power positions. But as we see that beautiful transition fly through here into the Garrison Hardpoint, map number 1 in this best-of-5 series here on a Wednesday night is just about to commence. It's going to be Living Nightmare on the left, Indiana Syndicate on the right, and it does look like we might be waiting on one more player to get in towards the lobby. However, hopefully they can get in before this one goes ahead and starts. We'll go ahead and it is going to be team kill, so we are going to get a little bit blue balled there, but that's okay. We love a good little fashioned Call of Duty mishap.
Hey, it happens.
I mean, it happens. It really does.
It happens quite often in Call of Duty, as a matter of fact. It just gives us a little bit more time to talk about Garrison Hardpoint. Talk about what we're going to be seeing in this matchup. And I mean, we already kind of mentioned the money hills that I'm looking for, point 2 and point 3. Now you're really looking at the submachine guns to dictate the pace of this map, because there's a ton of sneaky routes that they could be finding. But I want to talk about the other hard points, points 1, points 4, and points 5. Those hard points are really going to be utilized in the fashion of kind of locking down the spawns that you need for those money hills. I mean, the more favored side is definitely going to be the tank side for the spawns, because when you spawns for tank side, you're going to be looking at kind of locking down back tank and holding spawns for point 1, point 2, point 4, and point 5. The only time you ever really need the spawns for point 3 is in fact on that point 3 hard point, because back tank spawns is going to be so crucial for the rest of the game. And that's really when you see the ARs come into it, because the long sidelines that the ARs are going to have in the back of the map are definitely going to be looking to lock it down and make sure that those submachine guns cannot close the gap.
Yeah, you make a compelling point. I think that's also what makes point number 5 a little bit of a tricky hill to kind of contest and get time on, because even though you can play it from those tank spawns and you might want to go ahead and hold those because technically they are going to be a bit closer, if you are able to hold them from the P3 side, then you get top bridge control and you also get the control over towards those boxes and in towards the cobblestone side, to where you can get up and close and personal to the players that are trying to flood through into square, making that flank back around, and you can pick their line of defenses off very, very easily if they're not able to win that one-on-one gunfight initially inside there, because you know players are always going to try and get that advantage, because that allows not only to look over towards the vent push, but also the push from the top lights and from office to make sure you can get every single person at a hill without exposing yourself to those long-range ARs that are beaming you from the top bridge. So a lot of variability on this map of Garrison, even though it realistically is only a 1 to 2 lane map when it really breaks down into it. But I think that's what makes Hardpoint such a fun map to watch and a fun mode to watch on a map like Garrison, because of how differently you have to play this map compared to the other 3-lane maps, where your SMGs really are going to have to fly up and get up close and personal with the one lane, because they've got to win that initial gunfight to even give your team a little bit of progress and a little bit control of the map.
And that control of the map's definitely going to be so insane for those like smaller lanes that you see through control room top green and the vents on the opposite side, because you never see an assault rifle player go through those. I mean, it's always, I mean, maybe in top control you'll see the rifle players kind of take it to lock down maybe the rotations for point number 1, the rotations outside of point 3 spawns. But aside from that, you don't really see the ARs kind of take control outside onto the vent side of the map, because that's dictated by the pace of the SMGs. I mean, it's a small, tight angle. You're not going to have a good time, even with the XM4 down there. When that 74U is just going to beam you in that case. So I'm definitely looking at the SMG players to kind of break open those rights that you're talking about, kind of turn that essentially 2-lane map into a 3-lane map, and really find the timing to get in behind through vents anywhere they can, and really kind of I guess just make it chaotic in the end of it, especially when it does come down to that 0.3 and 0.2 hard points, and there's such big money hills. They're hard to break, and it's definitely going to be on the pace for the SMG players. I just keep on harping on them, but definitely my eye's just going to be on them all game.
Small and tight, a great way to describe Garrison, and a great way to describe this series in terms of the standings between both of these players and teams inside of Division B of this roster. And I mean, just take a look real quick, folks. I mean, you got Natural Town at the top of the 6-0 map count. They're going to be a difficult team to beat, but in a round-robin setting where Living Nightmare does have to play Natural Talent, that is going to be one to keep your eyes on, for the sheer fact that those two teams very well could be undefeated all the way up until when they face off against each other. I'm not exactly sure which week they'll be facing off against, but I do know that Hardpoint on Garrison is on our plate. It's time to go, folks. Living Nightmare on the left, Indiana Syndicate on the right. Small and tight, name of the game.
And, you know, we are hungry for this matchup as well. You know, we're talking about point 1, going to be chaotic. You're really looking to break the spawns and take control of back tank. Gother pushes on through for Indiana Syndicate, the team with the favorite spawns, and honestly makes it a little bit scary in that fact, but luckily Indiana Syndicate still holding on to the point 2 favorite spawns.
In the middle map, going for the side of Living Nightmare, at least initially. They've got 7 seconds of time, looking to accrue even more here early on. This is exactly what you want to see. Even if they don't get those preferred spawns in the side of Indiana Syndicate's able to push through, if you're able to get the majority of the time on point number 1, you're really not fretting too much if you can't break into P2, at least initially. Maybe some scrap time could go in your favor as well, but right now we see the side of Living Nightmare not only having control of that point number 1, but also getting ready to go ahead and have control of point number 2 as well. Look for players number 1 and 2 to get control of top green and in towards Cobble, to make sure players from Indiana Syndicate can't push out in droves, either through the top satellite push or through Cobble. Great stuff here from Living Nightmare after point number 1 finishes. And
point number 2 definitely kind of priming now, and in Living Nightmare, the first one's on that. This is where the SMGs are definitely going to shine. You got to get control of breaks. You got to lock down radar. Can't allow that push from green to kind of break so easily, and you see that group from Indiana Syndicate go through the first one out, going to take the fight on to True Velocity. He is going to swap to his Diamante and take over at Indiana Syndicate with a quick wipe. So a little bit of a misplay from Living Nightmares. Luckily, they still have those point 2 spawns and are occupying bricks.
Yeah, well, look at players number 2, 3, and 1. They all spawn over towards point number 3. This is big for 2 reasons. 1, because they now have the spawns over towards point 3 after this hard point finishes. But 2, with the way that this map works, you're able to get very far pushed up, almost towards that 50% mark in the map to keep your opponents all the way back at bay over towards those P2 spawns if they're still trying to control that scrap time. Indiana Syndicate, though, they'll take their first lead of game number 1. They'll go ahead and basically be having about a 10 to 15 second lead after this is all said and done. Well, that would have been if they would have gotten inside the hill and kept the time. It is going to be Living Nightmare once again, though. With the rotations, can Indiana Syndicate go ahead and break once again?
And you talked about Indiana, you know, they had those spawns for P3. Now they've given it up, and Living Nightmare, once again, the first one's on there, but go through who else to break on? You see 2 go down for Living Nightmares. A tussle on point, steady in the back line. They uprooted instantly, and Indiana Syndicate with a big break, but Exert still alive for Living Nightmares. He's got that XM4. He's in the back line. You got 37 seconds on the time bank. All the kills going to Indiana Syndicate. Exert, he hasn't found anything. He's honestly just wasting his time here. And Dancing finally hunted down. Velocity is going to find that kill. Indiana Syndicate really locking down this P3 for a ton of time.
I mean, Exert did what he needed to do there, though. He stayed alive and towards the back and at least allowed a fighting chance for Living Nightmare to push up because it was a 3 versus 3 on that point initially when those 2 players were playing Ring Around the Rosie in the garage. However, the wheel was loose, the screw falls off, and it is going to be the side of Indiana Syndicate who keep it on all tight and together as they go ahead and prove basically another 40 seconds of time after another early break. So what was about a 10-point lead for the side of Indiana Syndicate after that last point, now looking at about a 40-point lead, trying to break back once again. This time, though, 3 in a row there from Nefarious. 3 go down for the side of Indiana Syndicate. Living Nightmare back on top here, holding down the trash point.
Nefarious on a streak. Trulocity right above him to his left on platform. 45 seconds, nobody occupying the point at the moment. Nefarious finds his 4th. Still popping off, looking for more. And alive on it. Turboed on point, gaining the time for Living Nightmares. Nefarious, another 2. He's on a 6 spree playing for streaks. 1 more will give him that artillery strike. A Living Nightmare trying to battle back. If they get the remaining time, they will take this lead, but they're honestly just playing for the tie game. Trulocity gets a team kill off screen. Nefarious gets his streaks, maybe. Steady staying alive, and now Living Nightmares, they slow this one down and they back up. They're looking to hold on to P5 spawns.
Nefarious looking for more here. That's gonna almost be number 7. The shots come through. There it is. And that's not only 7 in a row. That's the artillery barrage looking for the cruise missile here as well. So that's utility for Living Nightmare. They retake the lead. They now have streaks to work with for potential breaks when we get back out either towards P3 or P2, because you obviously don't want to use them in a very closely contested hardpoint that's held by cover. But if we hop back on board with Nefarious, 8 in a row around the corner, make it number 9, 14 and 7. Before this point, he was just a measly, and I mean a measly 5 and 7. 9 in a row puts him not only even, but the top slayer inside of the lobby won't be able to make it number 10. No double digits, but enough has been done to the point where he now has streaks. Indiana Syndicate now on the back foot, having to try and break in, and Turbo's gonna try his hand at another. He's on 6 now, looking for 7.
He's playing for them. He wants to catch up and kind of put some more in the arsenal of this Living Nightmare squad. Nefarious, if you thought he did the damage, well, Turbo, the next one up, finally gets cut down by Steady, who finds himself 2. 10 seconds left on this last P5 hardpoint. You're looking at the reset for this hardpoint map. And take a look at Steady here. If you're Indiana Syndicate, you have to remember what happened the last time around. You pushed a little bit too far up. Living Nightmare flipped the spawns instantly, and you're playing from the back end from the rest after P2. You can't let that happen if you're Indiana Syndicate. You got to put your foot on contested and hold on to these spawns. You are down by a plethora of points as Living Nightmare is starting to break on through with 42 seconds left on this hard point. Living Nightmare finally starting to slow down. Indiana Syndicate finds about 3.
Switch got flipped. Nefarious and Turbo decided they wanted to try their hand at a great game. Same thing with Exert as well. Cynical, the last one, to really make a flashy play that we haven't seen yet. But I mean, when you have 3 players making flashy plays, like we are seeing out of the side of Living Nightmare, it makes your pushes, it makes your team, it makes your gunplay a lot more easy for the sheer fact that everybody's got the momentum. Everybody's mind is in a great place. And now it's the same thing as we get ready on the rotations on over here. And I heard the ooze there from Seymour. Great shots there from Exert. Gets the player from Indiana Syndicate out of the hill. That's going to allow them to push back over towards P2. However, folks, keep in mind the last time we saw a P2 hold from the side of Living Nightmare, initially, Indiana Syndicate was able to break relatively easily. Velocity now pushing out around the corner. Turbo is going to be there. Nefarious finds one as well. 3 players will go down from Indiana Syndicate, make it a 4th one as well. They'll spawn on the offside now, and it's going to be very difficult not only to contest this point, but even get a little bit of time for Indiana Syndicate for the sheer fact that everybody on the side of Living Nightmare has started to hit that next level.
This is exactly what I want to see the S&G players just dance around breaks. Make sure that you cannot touch onto this P2. Nefarious 21 and 12 doing exactly that. Going to have his sights locked in. Trulosity loses the gunfight. Big plays from Indiana now. Chance to break. One last player for Living Nightmares on the site. Picked up by Trulosity. They break. 22 seconds of scrap time. Take a look at the minimap. All players of Living Nightmares spawning back tank, and they're going to be making their way through P1 to try to break onto this P3 site. And you got 3 players spawning up there for Indiana Syndicate. An absolute bloodbath here.
Long trek, but not a foot race back over to this point because Indiana Syndicate have already set themselves up. However, there it is. They break easily through the mouth of the beast. They go gun slaying, and that's gonna do it basically for the rest of the momentum that Indiana Syndicate even thought they might have had getting in towards this point. 180, now make it 190 to 120, a 70-point lead. Guns ablazing here for Living Nightmare as they quite literally are scaring cowering fear into the side of the Indiana Syndicate here in map number 1. They're trying to go ahead and put their record above 500, but Living Nightmare wants to shut down every hope, dream, and aspect that they ever thought about getting back over 500.
You're down by 80 points. Living Nightmare looking to make it 90. Exert here. The XM4 playing nice, close, and personal with this assault rifle. 3 drop for the side of Syndicate. Trulosity still trying to hold his own. He really is the only player standing out to me right now. 20 and 19, just about even. A little bit positive. Rotating back over to P4 now under the floating tank. And I got to see a little bit more from Indiana Syndicate. The SMG's really getting put down by Nefarious and Exert. 2 players breaking 23 kills already. And Trulosity, the standout player for Indiana Syndicate. He's going to be dancing. See if he can make a play here. 2 players push him. The nice trade from Living Nightmares. An easy break. And occupying is going to be Syndicate.
They say it's never over until it's over. However, with Cynical now on a 7 spree, getting himself streaks, he'll be able to call him in or at least get information for the time being, but will be able to save that streak. Wasn't able to get it off before he fell from the player that was pushing from top bridge. Contest heavy pinstripe kill feed. Now it's just going to be all red. Living Nightmare pushed into the point. That could very well have done it. Indiana Syndicate, they've got to get over, but with only 7 seconds left to not only contest the point, get the kills, and get some more time as well. It's basically going to be all over from here. 3 seconds is all that the side of Living Nightmare need. The kill streak comes through. They hop back into the point. The contest is there. Again, though, when it's 125 points that you need, even if you're winning these gunfights, it's going to be too little too late. 3 more seconds will tick off the clock. Living Nightmare take map number 1, 1-0 up in the series, 250 to 126. They win by double the score of the Indiana Syndicate. They're sitting pretty.
You know, it happens. We've seen comebacks from that big of a deficit, just not lately. It's been a while. And 250 to 126, a big stomp from Living Nightmares. There's a reason why they are 2-0. There's a reason why they have a 6-2 map count. And honestly, it's these ARs mixed with Nefarious just raining terror. I mean, Cynical, he doesn't have to do too much out there because he literally just has to put himself on the point while the rest of his team slays around. We called Garrison an SMG map. Well, I mean, Living Nightmares, they really did their own to kind of back it on up, slow down the pacing when it did come to those power angles. Let Nefarious kind of run amok in the back line, and your ARs just hop on those power points and just not let Indiana Syndicate break through. Solid plays, very textbook from the side of Living Nightmare.
You mentioned a PowerPoint. That was a slideshow presentation on how to win a Garrison Hardpoint from the side of Living Nightmare right there. Hey, there can't be enough said about how the entire roster each had their individual shining and shimmering moments throughout that entire game. Namely, at the very end, the player that we had talked about not being able to step up at the very beginning of the game, who was a little bit lackluster, got streaks and basically secured the game with the artillery barrage as well. So every single player from the side of Living Nightmare showing their capability of slaying power as well as being able to play the objective with the rest of their team. The most important thing I think we can take away from this, and I'm sure that you were kind of thinking this in your mind as well, how good Living Nightmare was able to play as a squad together. The synergy along with the roster, it's unmatched, truly. And we saw that by 125 point loss. It's unmatched.
Well, there's one thing that I really have to commend them for, and it's that you're really seeing when they did go to break the hard points, there was constantly 3 players dropping at the same time of Indiana Syndicate. That showed that they were moving as a unit, and they were just taking them down as a squad instead of just individual plays, which I really liked from Living Nightmare. Really puts them ahead of the game for a lot of these squads in the K7 League. And honestly, when you're looking at it, just having that solid communication, just knowing what you want to do and executing it as a team, that is going to bring you to a good standing in the scoreline for this division. And I already like to see that, you know, early in the season. I know it's only week 3 for season 3, but I mean, this Living Nightmare squad, they definitely look like a nightmare to go up against. And Indiana Syndicate, they're living it right now.
It's difficult. Contest heavy. At the very beginning, we saw the side of Indiana Syndicate be able to give them at least a little bit of a run for their money early on inside of that map number 1. Didn't last for long, though, as the side of Living Nightmare basically took the storm, took away, and took the breath out of Indiana Syndicate's lungs, all the steam out of their sails, and all the wind out of their masts. As we get ready for game number 2, though, Checkmate Search and Destroy. Top plane control, the most important thing to note here on this map. But, of course, as we take a look at the flyover here, we see inside of the plane, exactly where we're highlighting. That's where the B bomb for S&D is going to be. A over towards that point number 4 for Hardpoint. What are we looking at here when we talk about Checkmate? Which is the preferred bomb site and where a team's going to most likely be playing on this map, Seymour?
I mean, you usually see the B hit every single round. I mean, the mid plane control, top plane control, you already said it. It is what you need to lock down. But luckily for Indiana Syndicate, this is less of an SMG map, and it's a lot easier for your ARs to really dictate the pace. So you need to see them kind of step up to the plate, shut down Turbo and Exert on those XM4s, and maybe even catch Nefarious off of a cheeky flank. But Living Nightmares, they're going to be starting off on this attack, and already all 4 players splitting completely, and they're taking individual gunfights.
Yeah, but they want to get up and aggressive, and they're trying to get map control here. So will it work for them? Maybe. That's going to be a first blood, though, on the board there for Turbo as he goes ahead and finds the shots there to Velocity. Takes the player off of that large power position over by that Tetris Godhead glitch. Now up top, it is going to be Cynical finding another kill, so already a 4 versus 2 in towards the plane. They've got information that Semtex is going to allow them to know that there's people in the plane. The double Semtex, though, from the team. That's a flawless round from Living Nightmare as they take no lives off of themselves, but take everybody out the side of Indiana Syndicate, put them in the ground 6 feet under this hangar in Germany.
Right, Exert swapping to the crate here, you know, going all the way around to the A site, finding that opening in the back line, really big to kind of secure that win at the end there. Gother had no idea in that XM4 role is going to be flanked like that, but I mean, Indiana Syndicate, they didn't do wrong. It's just Living Nightmares, that aggressive pressure that they had. They were just in the right place at the right times to kind of take the advantageous gunfights. A flawless and a team ace across the board. Everybody finding a pick. Now, Indiana Syndicate swapping to attack. They're going to go for the unorthodox A hit.
Without smokes, this hit has been proved to be very, very difficult, especially with the long lines of sight that you can get over towards A. However, Velocity with the first blood there on Exert will give them an opportunity and an advantage here, as they do have the bomb, and now we'll make that rotation over towards A. Actually, it's going to be a wrap back over towards middle map and potentially in towards the top plane, which is interesting to say the least, because they did have the advantage over towards A for the sheer fact that not a lot of people from the side of Living Nightmare had a long range line of sight if they were able to get onto that bomb and just lay down to be able to go for that plant. However, up and towards top plane, Trulocity is going to be there laying down for a potential overzealous chow from a Living Nightmare player trying to push you up and maybe feel a little bit overzealous. Nefarious looking with the angle, not going to be able to find anything just yet, but that's going to give away some information. Now tied at 3-3, trades come through. Indiana Syndicate have to get up. Bomb will go down over towards A.
Sorry, Nefarious didn't see him. Bomb's going to be planted. Now he has to take the gunfight. Naded off the site. Nefarious is going to be pushing his aggression. Nade's going to put Velocity up on the table. How is he still alive? Velocity off screen takes out Cynical. A total dance between Indiana Syndicate still playing their life here and a player advantage as well. Velocity makes it a 3-on-1 with Turbo going down. Nefarious, we've seen him take control of this game, but 22 seconds, can he do it? He has to take down Trulocity first, but they won't even let him touch him. They're going to go hunting. Indiana Syndicate ties up.
That's just a great retake of the plane. I mean, you didn't have any top control, but you did have that first pick on the round, so it gave you that advantage early on. You were able to have that as you pushed up into the plane, and it really just came to the player inside of the plane planting the bomb, staying alive. I don't know how in the hell Trulocity was able to do that. I don't know how Nefarious wasn't able to slide around that corner and get the kill. I know he was a bit afraid of going around the corner just in case that player that was playing long with the the AR was going to be able either to A, wall bang him or be playing that outer angle instead of the plane cabin to find the kill. But, I mean, you just got to trust your instincts there. If you're Nefarious, you know the player's there. Just try to make the play and your teammate should be there for the trade.
You see his positioning, top sniper's nest. You see number 7 on the mini-map just absolutely laying terror to Velocity, now having to back up on the fin and play his life. Nefarious going for this A hit and being very sneaky, a little slippery snake here, trying to make something of this play. Gother slows it down. Turbo going to go down, but Nefarious for the trade. Going to be able to drop that bomb on the A side. Maybe stay alive, but the bomb is going to sneak him out, and the nade not causing the plant. And that is a 2-on-2. Trulocity knows they have bomb in their favor. Cynical has to make some magic.
Nitpicky as it may be, he did have a trophy to throw down, so potentially could have saved himself from that grenade there. Although it is going to allow the side of Indiana Syndicate to now be at the advantage. 1 versus 2. The bomb is going to be heard getting picked up. I love the play right there from Trulocity. Sits behind the pillar, knows that the bomb is there because he saw the player, or he rather killed the player that was planting the bomb, so just waited for the audio cue of that bomb pickup. Was able to go ahead and wrap right around the corner. The double chow came through at the end. Absolutely no way the side of Living Nightmare could have survived that round there. Turbo, unfortunately, isn't able to clutch the 1 versus 2. That's going to allow the side of Indiana Syndicate, again, to have their first lead, not only inside of the search and destroy, but really have the momentum back in their favor since the first time halfway through that Garrison Hardpoint.
And it really came down to that isolated one-on-one for Cynical. Really didn't find it, so leaving Exert in a terrible position. You look at this attack, a fast one from Indiana Syndicate all the way down B, taking mid-map control, but this is what I was looking for. The SFG Cynical could be going for something sneaky, trying to get in behind, but really taking control of the bottom plane. Let's see if he can find a route.
Cynical, sinister. The shot's there, not going to be good enough. Gother hits the headshot, takes them off the map immediately. Pinstripe kill feed as it goes. No trades back and forth until Exert's able to find a second kill inside of the round, so that'll be advantage for Living Nightmare, something they haven't seen since the first round of this map. Pushing up towards the plane. They don't have top plane control. Make it Gother, who will be able to find a second inside of this round. 3-3 in the game. Velocity on a 5 streak, though, right now. Looking to find potential streaks for the side of Indiana Syndicate. That would be huge in terms of having something in their back pocket a little bit later on in this match. Checkmate not known for the streak usage. However, it's going to be always information on the map no matter what. So that's at least going to allow your team to have the upper hand advantage if you do earn those in a later round. But as Velocity now pushing up towards this top plane, might have saw the head of one, but isn't able to escape with his life. So streak talk off the table. Now it's time for street talk as Gother is on the ground looking to try and get the advantage of the 2 players up and towards top lane.
And you did have Exer swap into the A side, caught out by Gother in the flank. A one-on-one. Nefarious has the advantage as he did take that heady and he spotted him right out there. Beaming with that 74U ties us to a piece. Nefarious getting the communication from his teammate, that back lane. You know, Exert goes down, but Nefarious just in the right spot to take an immediate gunfight onto Gother. And you say, yeah, it is hard, but when you're expecting it, Nefarious, he's showed that he can take these up in the face gunfights and really beam at range. Now, I want to see Indiana Syndicate, you know, their aggression from the last round slowed down immediately. And all the progression that they did have in that last attack just made nothing of it. I need to see them follow through in the later rounds when they go back onto attack. And in this defensive side, you do see them opting for a bit of a kind of lacking B retake. See 2 players sitting on the staircase, one kind of pushed right up onto the bomb site, and a split for number 5 to watch through the mid window. Velocity, he has to get that information if these teammates need to push for it. Gother does just that, though, from the crossfire, and a big opening from the Syndicate.
Last round, it would have been not only a 1 versus 2 clutch, but an ace to go along with it. This round, same thing exactly as we saw in round number 4. First blood there from Gother. Allow the side of Indiana Syndicate to have the advantage once again. 2-2 in the rounds as it stands. Velocity finds another kill here in the round, so a 2 versus 4. Bomb still in the hands for Living Nightmares, so at least they have one of their tracks covered. However, getting that bomb down up and towards the top lane is going to be the biggest objective here. Nefarious, a very ballsy play around the back. It won't get rewarded for him. Now a 1 versus 3. Exert needs to be walking around, needs to be finding these players. We'll be able to find the first. Oh my goodness! Beams the second. Now a 1 versus 1. Knows the player might be hiding up and towards top plane. The audio cue is there of the hop up there for Exert, but he's got to go. He's got to be looking for this player. Doesn't know that he's back around there. The player just laying down inside the plane. Steady is there. Won't be able to grab the bomb around. That was very close to being clutched. Not able to do so there, though. Exert got damn close to doing it, but the 1 versus 3 only equates to a 1 versus 2 and nothing more. Round win to the Indiana Syndicate.
And I know we're on Checkmate, but Exert's flying right now by the enemies. That beautiful double kill. You know, it was a good chance for that one-on-one, but Steady backs up. He's 0-3, but he doesn't need to get a kill in that situation to take the round. It goes down to the time. Indiana on the advantage, 3-2. Trulocity with bomb in hand. They're looking like they're going for another quick B hit. Let's see if they follow through in this time, because last time they slowed down immediately after taking their positions. And just once again, they're doing that with their AR set up on back staircase and outside P5, looking for that opening pick.
Down below, M4 in hands for Exert. Gother. That's been his spot all game long on the defensive, or rather the offensive side. Just that left side head glitch, looking for a couple of players, maybe getting a bit overzealous towards that bottom plane or over towards A on the defensive side. Not going to happen though. Trulosity looking to be that first player up and towards the plane. We'll get some information of the player over towards Tetris. However, Cynical is going to be able to take down Gother, the player who was not the top slayer, but the top fragger in the rounds where he was able to find those first picks more than less. Trulosity looking for the players over towards left. Not going to be able to find much though. Velocity is going to be 7-3. I know Velocity and Trulosity sound very, very similar. However, both players having very different games here on Checkmate Search and Destroy. 25 seconds left. They've got to get the bomb down, and they've also got to be able to get the retake in terms of life advantage. Round win. Living Nightmare. 3-3. Tie up the rounds here in the Search and Destroy. It's been good, but is it going to be good enough to go ahead and close out the Search and Destroy? We've seen multiple times. There have been rounds where Living Nightmare looks like the better team, especially like in round number 1, where we saw a flawless round from their side. 2 rounds after that, though, just wasn't going in their favor, and Indiana Syndicate looked like the all-out slaying better team in the Search and Destroy. However, things are tied up here at 3-3. Now the question on the board, Seymour, is, can the side of Living Nightmare close this one out, or can Indiana Syndicate find it within themselves to really pull it together and just completely dismantle the team that manhandled them in map number 1?
Exert, very interesting route. Taking a few damage, but ends up staying alive. And Living Nightmare, I mean, they have a good chance now tying it up, but Indiana Syndicate looks a lot better in the Search and Destroy than they did on that hardpoint. Looking a lot more practice in this game mode than the last. And that's not totally, like, out of the loop for a lot of COD teams. You know, some just, they prefer Search over the respawns, and definitely Indiana Syndicate, they need to take this because their respawn didn't look too good. And the Search and Destroy looks like it's their best chance. Velocity opens up with a first blood. You look at him backing up on this Finn, 8-4 at the moment. Gother following up in the second. Velocity on a 3 for Indiana Syndicate. And a chance now, Cynical left alone. Indiana Syndicate wants to take this lead back.
1v4s. They're a spectacle if they can get completed. However, Velocity not stopping, not slowing down. Only heating up here in the Search and Destroy. 4-3. This is when the top slayers need to be had the most here from your teams. You'll see it right there. The Krieg shots over the top, over left, is going to be able to pick up that first one. Here in the best play, it always shows the best plays in the round in terms of the score, and that 2-piece really set up the score for the side of Indiana to go ahead and take the round. My question now, Seymour, with a 4-3 lead, composure is always a question when it gets in towards a game of Search and Destroy, but any game mode in Call of Duty, really. But with 3 ARs for both of the teams right now, specifically, what do you look at when trying to retake map control when neither of these two teams seem to be playing that aggressively with SMGs up and towards the plane, especially after that first round when all Living Nightmare, when they did play aggressive?
Well, you look at about what Exer did a few rounds ago, really kind of like slow push on defense to the A bomb site to kind of point 3 box. And from that angle, you can watch the mid cross from either side with an AR. Exert, he doesn't even want to take the off angle. He's going to be taking this push with Turbo. Both XM4s being so aggressive on defense. Steady last alive. And out of all this, I mean, the retakes definitely coming down to the cross angles you can provide from the top plane. And Living Nightmares, they don't even need that.
Steady. Slow and steady. Won't be enough. Living Nightmare tied up 4-4. Oh, man. This is teasing me slowly but surely. Like, I inside of me, I feel my body getting a little bit tighter every single round as I'm just ready to explode for a round 11 if we do end up getting there. But back and forth these rounds have been every single time. It seems like no matter what, neither team can get that 2-round advantage ever since this thing was tied up at 2-2. 4 rounds have gone past. Neither team looking like that outstanding team over the other in Search and Destroy right now. Living Nightmare, this has been one of their biggest challenges this season thus far, is the Search and Destroy game type. Indiana Syndicate giving them a run for their money early on here. They've got to win 2 more rounds, though, in order to take that series to a 1-1 tie. They can do it. It's going to be difficult. We'll see what they can do here in the Search and Destroy as we're tied up at 4 apiece.
Both teams on a defensive kind of streak right now. Cynical opens up with the trade, putting Living Nightmares on the player advantage. He's going to back up to his team, kind of put that defense in and group up for their 3-on-2 to play the player advantage for possible trades. You look at the positioning of a Steady and Velocity, both kind of opting for this B retake or this B setup, but Steady very aggressive. He has to be quiet here, and maybe we'll get some good timing on Nefarious if he crosses this corner. Living Nightmares rotate over, and they're trying to drop the bomb on A.
Best gun in the game, the 74U, in the hand of Nefarious. Top lane controlled by the side of Indy Syndicate. They've got 2 players up there, but only 2 players. Velocity will get some shots from Turbo right to the noggin. That'll be 4 in a row for them. Living Nightmare take 2 rounds back-to-back, an offense and a defense respectively, to now be up at match point, and this is where it gets scary. An opportunity not only to close out the search and destroy, but this is to put them up 2-0 in the series. If you thought Living Nightmare was the stronger team, they proved it in the hard point. Thus far in the search and destroy, it hasn't looked like it. Indy Syndicate, though, this is where you might waver a bit. You know that you need to take the search and destroy because the Living Nightmare roster is a better overall respawn team than you are statistically speaking. Going into this next control, it could spell trouble, especially on the same map of Checkmate where you might lose the search and destroy. You've got to win the round here. Offense is definitely going to be a bit difficult, but with some shots from both players onto the relative other opponents, this is going to give information to both teams.
I need Steady to heat up here. 1 and 5, having not the best search and destroy map. Has found some success, but if you're talking about success, Velocity is just up there. 10 and 6 now after that first blood. Cynical's going to go down. A big opportunity now. Indy Syndicate have to commit off this, have to find success in this. They need this at round 11. Like you said, they don't want to drop the search and destroy, because if they do, there's a big chance that we might see a 3-0 tonight. Exert sitting on the wing, waiting for the cross. He has the XM4 in hand, and if you're looking at number 1, Nefarious, just waiting for that B site. The push is coming.
Wow.
True Loss, he finds it, but the trade, Nefarious keeps them in it.
3 versus 2. Great spot for Indy Syndicate. They've had these situations before, and they've lost them. They've also had situations like this and won them, so it's going to be down to these players to see what they do as a collective unit around the map. You see 2 players up and towards top lane. That's great control already because now it's a 1 versus 3. Player behind Turbo is not, maybe calls him out, but the headshot's going to be there. Not able to plant the bomb. It's going to be shots on the staircase, slides down, isn't able to get the angle quick enough, and that's it. Oh, my body's ready for an explosion. 5-5, round 11. See more, break it down.
I mean, really, it's just coming off of decisiveness. Velocity with that opening kill was what you needed to kind of back up this defense, the aggressive angles that Living Nightmare has. And Indy Syndicate, when you see those decisive plays, they find success, but every single time that they slow it down, Living Nightmares just run terror through their minds. And this attack, it has to see follow through. They're going for the B hit. They're taking outer plane, and a fast one that is.
Same thing we saw from the last round. 2 offenses in a row from Indy Syndicate. You won 1, but it's difficult to win the offenses. As I said last round, they lose a player first this time. It's going to be Gother, the player that, again, was their entry fragger who was able to get those first bloods pretty much in every single round. 10 and 7 here from Velocity, 11 and 6 from Exert, the top slayers for both of these 2 rosters, playing slow on a passive push. Indy Syndicate down below the plane, looking to try and get in towards the top plane, or at least find that first pick.
Velocity, kind of, you can tell he wants to hop up, but really just looking for an opportunity for anything to even this one up. And this is Indy Syndicate kind of backed into their cage like they have been on attack before. Slowed down from their aggressive push. Now down to 2 as Cynical finds Trulocity. You have to see Steady show up now. He's 1 and 5. Hasn't had the best game, but you know, when you win that round 11, it is all up to you. And he's put into the back foot. Living Nightmares push on through, and they run with a flawless round 11.
As above, so below. Round number 1 starts out with a flawless round. Round 11 ends with a flawless round. Living Nightmare go full circle to take a 2-0 advantage here inside of this best of 5 series. Now improve their map count inside, rather, I was going to say the series count. No, they improved their map count to 8 and 2 inside of Season 3 of K7. Now looking to go ahead and close out this series in 3 games. Backs against the wall for Indy Syndicate. Does that make them a tougher opponent inside of the control, knowing that they have to go ahead and win this to even start the reverse sweep? Or does that put advantage in your hand, knowing that your mindset is already through the roof after winning around 11? You've put your opponent in shambles. Now you have an opportunity to win this next map and close out the series. I guess the real question is, when you look at these 2 teams, do you see Indy Syndicate being able to win the control, since statistically speaking, Living Nightmare is that better team?
It's a tough tale. I mean, Indiana Syndicate, you saw what happened on Hardpoint. They weren't rotating properly. They were giving up spawns so easily on that, and in turn, that just shows that they're not really their mindset really isn't there to kind of like save their lives. So when it comes to come down to control, where lives are so crucial, you know, as it is a respawn, but it's a limited respawn. Only 30 lives to you. I need Indiana Syndicate to work more as a team. I need to see their communication come kind of flying through this control map. As I mean, we've seen what happened on the hard point, and the respawn definitely looking to favor Living Nightmares. We both said it that Search and Destroy looked like Indiana Syndicate's best chance at kind of taking a map off of Living Nightmare and going even farther into the Checkmate series that we do have. But I just, it's going to be tough. Indiana Syndicate, they really need to kind of change a lot just to take this control in. Will they do it? I'm going to have to see it immediately in this round 1 or no.
Yeah, and you know, I got to say, at the end of that control, or rather the end of that Search and Destroy, Seymour, here's the thing, right? We see the side of Living Nightmare play very nicely on the defensive side from the offensive push from the side of Indiana Syndicate, because they made the exact same play that they had on offense 2 rounds in a row. When you do that against good teams, they're going to be able to read you. They're going to be able to know exactly where you're going, and that's going to allow them to set up and you're going to be predictable to them, so they can know exactly where you're going to be coming from right when the round starts. They do it. They recognize it immediately. They're able to get that first blood. Then it's just waiting on the defensive side. It's beautiful stuff. Top lane control going to be once again the mainstay here inside of this Checkmate Control. Nefarious up top looking for the first blood. Nobody off the board just yet.
It does look like Indiana Syndicate starting on this attack. Not going to have the favorite side, but going for a B hit. Trades are going to be favoring the orange squad, but it's pinstriped as even going. And honestly, those kills lost, it's going to be tough for Indiana Syndicate to find progression. They know they need to slay out a little bit more, and that's exactly what Trulocity, the 2 slayers of this team, and honestly, sounding like twins here with the names that they are given. But they are going to look to do exactly that. And unfortunately, 3 go down. A big wipe for Living Nightmares, and this is kind of like costly, because you're looking at Living Nightmares now to possibly set up a spawn trap, which happens a lot on this map.
Defense is the best side to be on Checkmate Control. It's been proven time and time again. Inside of the CDL, virtually a 0% win percentage when you are on offense on Checkmate. A map that is not played a whole hell of a lot, but it is played here and there, and that's again where that statistic does come from. Cynical takes down Gother, so that's an opportunity now for a push-up through the map. The offensive side is going to have a little bit of an advantage here, because look at where Exert is playing. He knows that at least one person is up and towards that top lane. Teammate is going to be able to find that kill. Go through it once again on the challenge, this time wise enough to go for the head. We'll go ahead and find the kill. A has a tick of progress. B looking for that first tick of progress. However, it's going to be shut down over towards B. All focus over towards A, as Indiana Syndicate now have to go ahead and have a defensive retake.
You know, I had my mind's flipped a little bit. I thought the Syndicate started on defense, but Nefarious here just showing me. He's got his foot down on A, and he is not letting go. Trades come out. Axer's going to have to stop that clock. 2 ticks of progression on the A site. And if they keep their players on, they might be looking at that 3rd take. Off spawn, Steady gets a good pick onto Exert, but just trades favoring this attacking team and the life advantage. It might be 2, but that is big, switching over to this B site. I need to see these Slayers come into Indiana Syndicate. They really need to lock down the 2nd point. B site's a lot easier for the defenders to handle. And look at them. They're setting up on that plane control. You're looking for that push through the spawns, and Gother just might look to find a couple picks to just keep them ahead in this.
All it takes is one good squad wipe. 50 seconds left. They can win off the time. They can win off the advantage. Or, of course, they can just fly through and get picked off immediately by Living Nightmare, which is exactly what happens initially. However, now they're on the retake. It is Indiana Syndicate who do find 2 kills, bring that tick count back down to just 1 over towards B. 45 seconds with a single player on the point is how long it takes to control an entire point here in this mode. However, when that point gets stacked by more than 1 player, that exponentially increases the rate at which the point is captured. 3 go down as Steady finds 2, and Gother finds a friendly Semtex, but Turbo will even himself out just a bit here. Now Indiana Syndicate only down by 1 life in the life advantage. 9-8 with 20 seconds left. They've got to get onto the point. Turbo up top, gets some shots found onto him, but 2 kills from Living Nightmare makes this a whole hell of a lot easier. They're controlling, they're contesting, they're pinching, they're like pythons suffocating their prey. They've got players stacked on the hill. It's going fast. 2 ticks, now looking for the 3rd. Can they go ahead and find it? There it is. Living Nightmare win a round that's seemingly impossible to take. Now up 1-0 in the control, looking even closer to closing out this series here in map number 3.
I have to say, man, I mean, Indiana Syndicate, they got that one squad wipe that you were talking about, Corn. They shut down the attack from the Living Nightmares, but there is a reason why they're a nightmare. It's because they live rent-free in the heads of this squad that is the Syndicate, and they get that wipe. Their guns are firing on all cylinders, and when they step on that point, exactly like these players on there, you didn't even have a chance to step back for your Indiana Syndicate. So now you're on attack. You're on, granted, the less preferred side, and you just lost a defense. So what in your mind thinks that you could take an attack? I need to see those ARs start picking off, and Velocity does just that right off the bat. And 2 kills go to them. We'll see if they can break out and find success. Instant trades, and honestly, when it does come to Control, especially on Checkmate, you're wanting the trades if you're on defense. You just need one person to stop the clock and one person to contest the point. Trades are definitely going to be in your favor.
They're going to be right off the rip. It's not going to work out for them. That's going to put them back on the respawn block. Looking to Exert. Tries to find the kill there, but it is going to be Gother who goes and finds 1, 2, but not enough to find the third. The player from the top plane is going to find him and take him down to the grave, so an opportunity now for Living Nightmare to push back up towards the map and get top plane control. The one thing I will say is Living Nightmare, after round number 1, showed that they were the better slaying team over the side of the Indiana Syndicate, and that is another advantage that goes and stacks in their favor here on the defensive side of things, because if they are slaying out their opponents, it doesn't matter if they get 1 or 2 kills at a time. That dwindles not only the life advantage, but also dwindles the pushes that they have either towards A or B, and some unfortunate timing there for Nefarious. Rather for Gother, Nefarious is able to find him on the map. Exert takes down Steady as well, so 2 will go down for the Indiana Syndicate, now pushing them back even further in towards their spawn. Contested A for the time being, but a spawn trap potentially being set up with player number 2 still so far pushed up and towards the spawn of Living Nightmare.
Velocity, a player you need to see pop off, and he is looking to back up Living Nightmares in their spawn. Turbo hits that flank, only good for 1. Velocity turns and burns. Cynical getting those trades. 2 go down now for the Syndicate, as those are some big picks for the Living Nightmares to shut it down. You got 2 takes of progression, but honestly, if you don't find that third, you only have 38 seconds to make it happen. Off spawn, Indiana Syndicate, a big break. Time can be gained. They're going to find that third set as their third tick on that A point. They got to take their sides to B. They're playing at an even advantage for player lives as well. 1:30 to make this happen. And really, Gother, the big chance here, but shut down by Exer. You needed to see that break through the spawns.
Realistically speaking, this has been a very close game between both of these 2 opponents. I mean, the kill feed has been relatively the same throughout the entire game, back and forth trades. The life count has basically been the same for both teams the entirety of this round and the first round previous. After that search and destroy, I think something clicked for the side of Indiana Syndicate that is allowing them to play this control very, very well. They lose that first defensive round, sure, it hurts them a lot. However, here, getting this offensive round and an extra minute left on the clock, now it's about dwindling the lives of Living Nightmare. If you are on the offensive side and you do end up going to around number 5, there's a real opportunity for your team that you get the defensive side once again and try your hand in that in round number 5 because of the kills that you get within the round. The team that has more kills at the round number 5 start will get defense, and they are rewarded with an easier advantage there inside of that round. It's going to be Trulocity almost losing the gunfight there, but now the point stack from B comes through once again. We saw it from Living Nightmare last time. Now it's going to be Nefarious who finds 2 in the spawns. That's going to, again, allow the reinforcements not to be able to get to that point. Nefarious and towards the back will find the shots onto 1. The pistol and the Diamante just stalls them for the time being. No respawns alive for either of these 2 teams. Still a lot of time, though, left with 35 seconds. Pushing on the map, Nefarious laying down under the tank. Gother will be the first one here. Finds the shots, but won't be able to find the kill. 3 versus 4 as we go down to the end with 24 seconds remaining. Now it's going to be an all-out bloodbath in the middle map.
Velocity here evens up the lives, spawns out Turbo. He's gonna have to touch down. You got 13 seconds left. Suddenly, you really need to put the pedal to the metal. Steady hops up on there, finds the back. Velocity, 2 lives left, 7 seconds. Cynical's the next one off to the plate, but takes the kill. Velocity, he wants it. He knows he's there. He's gonna swing 1 exit. Last one alive. You have the time stop. Velocity's gonna be brought down. Exit 1-on-1. He's going for the progression though. You have to challenge it if your Exert. Velocity knows where he is. You're gaining that time on that third point. Exert's gonna go for it. He wants to fight. Velocity doesn't know he's behind him. He's gonna swing Exert with the 1-on-1. Living Nightmares go up by 2.
Oh, I mean, look, I get you want to check your surrounding, you want to check everything around you, but the reload there is not a smart move. you're not ready for that gunfight because you don't know when that's going to come. Of course, you have the opportunity on the defensive side saying, okay, I know how long the point is going to be taking to get captured. I know that even though he is on the point right now, the time is stalled at 7.4 seconds. There's still a lot of time for me to go ahead and find my way over towards that. A huge 1-versus-1 comes through, makes it a 2-0 lead. Living Nightmare. They're somehow finding a way to win these very closely contested rounds. Although Indiana Syndicate does get it down to a 1-versus-1, that also doesn't go well and bode well for their attempt to get to a round number 5 and potentially have a defense, because both of the teams were exactly the same in slaying, with Living Nightmare being able to add one more kill into that category for themselves. However, 3 go down off the rip here. A and B, no ticks yet, no progress yet for the offensive side. It is going to be Gother who finds yet another kill on this round. 3 in a row for him after starting at 15 and 15 the round previous. Looking for A, looking for B. Living Nightmare now pushed back into their spawn.
A good start from Indiana Syndicate on this defense. Full wipe for Living Nightmares. Indiana Syndicate really do or die now. So let's hop in with a team listening for this IS squad fighting from their back foot.
Oh my god, I just got incinerated. There's one on their side.
No, you're good, we're good. We're only down 1 life.
Yeah.
I'm in.
They're only
spawning
blue.
blue.
You gotta hold
I just got off
30
spawn.
seconds.
Watching top. Yeah, 30 seconds. One's front. He just went
Yo, one
bottom
bottom plane, one bottom plane, one bottom plane. Did you kill bottom plane?
Top.
No.
Oh, I don't know what I'm seeing right now.
Oh, top plane, end plane. Nice,
him,
good
got
kill.
him.
That's 3 dead. They're still spawning out.
One's on touch.
Oh my god, he's close
15
right,
seconds.
close right.
We
close
gotta
right
stay
on
up. Do not die. Do not die.
2 in hill, 2 in hill, 2 in hill.
Nice.
One more,
Big
one
fucking
shot.
kill. Have your help. Stay down.
Grip.
Yeah, wait.
Under plane, absolute dead. Let's fucking go. No, under plane. I'm weak.
I got your help.
It might go A. Sure. Yeah, A.
Yep.
You know, those comms, they might be fighting from the back end, Corn, but the comms are on fire right now. They won it. They're in it to win it, and they are here to play in this honestly, this control point. We're finally seeing some success from this side of Indiana Syndicate. You like to see it.
Good round there out of the side of the Indiana Syndicate. I will say, though, the one thing for the side of Living Nightmare is that those comms were not cluttered. A lot of times, if they're trying to win a game or you might be in a little bit of distress at the end of a round, you could have a little bit of cluttered comms, though. They're on the offensive round. It doesn't work out great for them. And Indiana Syndicate, again, although that last round didn't work out great for them, the round that we just saw on stream gives them the advantage in kills now by just a little bit. Gother leading the way at 23 and 17. If this one does go to around number 5, Indiana Syndicate still would have the offense right now. They've got to win a big, they would still have the offense right now. They've got to win a big offensive round here to go ahead and give themselves the advantage. It's going to be very difficult after what we saw the last time, but it was a 1-versus-1 that dwindled all the way down to the end, and some unfortunate timing there for the player from Indiana Syndicate who was trying to win that 1-versus-1. Could be different here. Time will only tell.
Big 1-on-1 now. Turbo gonna find that. Now he's setting up camp in the spawns of Indiana Syndicate. And this is a player you have to look at. You have to clear him. Trulosity is gonna be watching it. Slides on down. He calls out the positioning. The information is there. A getting decapped on the second play. Trulosity off screen, looking to hold onto it, and with the Diamante, he's going to do so. So they're still getting progression at A, looking for the second one, and the reinforcements come in. They clear Turbo. A big successful take from the Syndicate.
Back over to the point. Exert finds 2 there. Looking for more there. Velocity tries, but Gother now retaliates with 2. Allows his team to push up, make it 3. Gets killed from behind by Turbo, but that's 3 big kills for the Syndicate, as now they have 2 ticks over towards A and map presence, as they now, at the respawn block, they get back to middle map just a bit faster than Living Nightmare. Exert back over towards A. Continues the dominance that they saw the last time they were there. Trulosity with the pistol and the Diamante will go ahead and retaliate just a bit, but Gother, although he had 3 in a row and was cut down, back to his killing ways, the slaying ways. Players from Living Nightmare now either have to decide, A, do we chalk A, or B, do we send all our players over there at once? That's exactly the play call. The Syndicate down by 2 lives, now make it 3. 2 ticks at A, but nothing more on the map. 30 seconds left could decide not only this game, but the series as well.
And trigger discipline from Turbo. It has the backup from Nefarious. Now walking into the spawns of the Syndicate. Cleaned up immediately. So no progression at that. Just slows down this attack steady. He's getting it behind. This is going to be an opportunity now. He has to find something off this. And the ferry's going down as well. The cruise missile going to be called, so streaks for Living Nightmare. 11 seconds left. They have to touch down. This artillery strike looking to keep them off it. It's going to be causing this. It's going to find any damage steady, keeping them on that site. It's going to be stopping the clock at 9.5 seconds. Turbo clears it. Another contestation here. Big one-on-one. Turbo going to go for it. Go for the chow, but the backup velocity watches him with that AR. This is getting close. They have to cap this. Exert keeps him off it. He's good for 3. Goto gets out. 3 seconds.
Oh, make it
Living
4.
Nightmares complete the sweep with a 3-1 control.
I'm pretty sure that's going to be the play of the game here at the end of the round, and yes, it will. Let's count out loud one more time. Make it 1. Last player pushes. It's desperation mode from the side of the Syndicate here. They push in. That's 2 and 3. Last one around the corner. The last line of defense, slow and steady, but doesn't win it this time. Exert closes out the game, closes out the control, but more importantly, closes out the series as Seymour highlighted. A 3-1 victory for Living Nightmare. They'll improve, a 3-0 victory for Living Nightmare inside of this series. They'll improve to 3-0 on the season, now improving their map count as well to 9-2. They're trying to climb for that top spot. In order to find it, it's going to be a bit difficult, though, because they'll have to catch Natural Talent, who are undefeated in maps and record thus far, too. But we'll show you the statistics one more time for all of these teams in Division B here in Season 3 of K7. Natural Talent, as I said beforehand, leading the way with Living Nightmare in second. Technically, they'll be in front of Natural Talent after this match just for the time being until Natural Talent are able to play their next match. And either A, they'll lose that, or B, they'll be able to win that and reclaim that top spot. But remember, the big thing is head-to-head here between these teams if they have the same record at the end of the season, but more importantly, if there is a 3-way tie, then it goes towards that map count. So again, you can see the MW, which is map wins, ML, which is map losses, 6-0 for Natural Talent, 6-2 for Living Nightmare. That 6 just changed to a 9. Nice 3-0 record.
So now you're really looking at the Natural Talent to kind of like for their week 3 to get that maybe 9-0 to hold on to that number 1. It is a battle between Natural Talent and Living Nightmare. And honestly, looking at Indy Syndicate, you see some opportunity after that search and destroy, just coming off slow in that hard point really put them on the back end now. 3-6 is not the scoreline you're going to want going 1-2 now, dropping down the standings. We have to look at them to improve a lot in their respawns. They need to close out on those search and destroys if they're going to be banking on them as well. In the future, I can see Indy Syndicate kind of pulling it back, kind of tweaking a few things and honestly improving to maybe climbing the standings once more. But right now, they're put in a tough situation because those hard points, that hard point at the start, if they start off cold like that often, they're not gonna find a whole lot of success towards these top teams like Living Nightmare, Natural Talent, possibly even the 1-on-1s as well, like Valiant Gaming, Hyped Esports, and Valkyrie.
Like I said beforehand, that control was much closer than what we saw in that first respawn mode in the hardpoint. Obviously, it was a 125-point victory for the side of Living Nightmare after that Garrison Hardpoint. But going into the S&D, when it was a 6-5 victory for Living Nightmare, that could have gone either way. Indy Syndicate unfortunately made the unwise decision of making the exact same offensive play that they had made the round before, where Living Nightmare were able to counter that and read that, then thus was allowing them to win that round 11 and give them that 6-5 lead. And inside of the control, a round that could have very easily went in the way of the Syndicate in round number 1 on the defensive side goes awry, and Living Nightmare again sneak and steal around from the side of Indy and the Syndicate, which then forced them in towards that really unfortunate offensive round to end the game out right there. So again, 250 to 126 was map number 1, 6-5 was map number 2, and a 3-1 victory for the side of Living Nightmare was the final nail in the coffin for the Indiana Syndicate here inside of the series, folks. Seymour, any other thoughts?
Not a whole lot from myself, except to just let you guys know that we do have another matchup tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern time. Corn, I know you're going to be there and shift alongside you, but it's the end of the road for me for K7 tonight. I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope to see you later in the chat for some more K7 at 10 p.m.
Folks, don't go anywhere. We're going to be back with K7 action at 10 o'clock p.m. tonight. Another great matchup. Myself and Shifty will take you through that one. Thank you for watching. Come back at 10 o'clock tonight for more Season 3 of K7.